go ahead and call the council meeting to order, starting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Should have called you today, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Katora?
Here.
Mr. Kraus?
Here.
Mr. McGill?
Here.
Mrs. Meany? Here. Glynis?
Here.
Mr. Russo?
Here. We have a couple changes to the agenda. The first is the Public Works meeting schedule for September 6th has been moved to September 13th at 4:30 p.m. Also, just to make a note that the August 29th Planning Commission is canceled, as well as the September 4th council meeting is canceled for the Labor Day holiday, and City Hall is also closed on Labor Day. Also, we will be removing item number 12, as that was not passed at the prior safety meeting. Nancy?
Sure. I'm going to go ahead then and make a motion to remove item 12 and refer it back to the Safety Committee.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Katora?
Yes.
Mr. Kraus?
Yes.
Mr. McGill?
Yes.
Mrs. Meany?
Yes.
Mr. Palunas?
Yes.
Mr. Russo?
Yes. Okay, brings us to comments from the audience. Any comments from the audience? Any comments from the audience? Any comments from the audience? Seeing there are none, we'll bring it back to the dais for the approval of the minutes of August 7th, 2017.
Move to approve as submitted.
Is there a second? Mr. McGill, roll call, please.
Mr. Katora?
Yes.
Mr. Kraus?
Yes.
Mr. McGill?
Yes.
Mrs. Meany?
Yes.
Mr. Palunas?
Yes.
Mr. Russo?
Yes. Okay, brings us to Planning Commission consent. Item number 1.
An application was received from Raintree Holdings LLC for property located at 5265 and 5275 Naaman Parkway for a number of permitted freestanding ground signs variance, which Planning Commission approved, and sign design review, which was approved by the Planning Commission.
Thank you. Item number 2.
An application was also received from Raintree Holdings for property located at 5325 Naaman Parkway for sign design review, and the Planning Commission approved.
Thank you. Item number 3.
An additional application was received from Raintree Holdings for property located at 5351 Naaman Parkway for sign design review, and that was also approved.
Thank you. Item number 4.
An application was received from Gary Cohen for property located at 7650 Royal Portrush Drive for a 22-foot front yard setback variance, which was approved, contingent that any repairs associated with the sanitary sewer easement be the responsibility of the homeowner.
Thank you. Item number 5.
An application was received from Richard Chandler for property located at 5305 Fairfield Oval for a 25-foot rear yard setback variance, which was approved.
Thank you. Item number 6.
An application was received from Susan and Joseph Frick for property located at 5935 Liberty Road for a variance to permit one additional accessory structure, which was approved.
Thank you. Item number 7.
An application was received from American Millennium Investments, LLC, for property located at 33255 Bainbridge Road for a three-space on-site parking variance, which was approved, building material variance, which was approved, building color variance, which was approved, and approval of a site plan for a detached garage. And the Planning Commission recommended approval contingent upon the applicant's compliance with stormwater management requirements and roofing shingles matching the building.
Thank you. Item number 8.
An application was received from the Sherbrooke Homeowners Association for property located at 34700 Lakeview Drive for a front yard setback variance, which was approved, a side yard setback variance, which was approved, and a not parallel to the street variance, which was also approved.
Thank you. Item number 9.
An application was received from Nara Enterprises LLC for property located at 33200 Aurora Road for a 60-foot front yard setback variance, which was approved, 17-foot side yard setback variance, which was approved, 44-foot rear yard setback variance, which was approved, 56-foot rear yard setback variance for the dumpster, which was approved, building material variance was approved, a structure color variance for the gas pumps was approved, a number of signs variance was approved, an extension of a nonconforming use variance, which was approved, and approval of a site plan contingent upon the applicant's request and approval of a lot consolidation for permanent parcels 954-02112 and 954-02113 prior to receiving the permit and compliance with requirements noted in an August 15, 2017 memo from the planning director.
Thank you. That brings us to the end of the consent agenda. Mr. Palunas.
I'll move to approve the planning commission consent agenda.
Is there a second? Mrs. Meany. Roll call, please.
Mr. Kraus?
Yes.
Mr. Katora?
Yes.
Mr. McGill?
Yes.
Mrs. Meany?
Yes.
Mr. Palunas?
Yes.
Mr. Russo?
Yes. Okay, brings us to correspondence. Item number 10.
Correspondence was received from the Ohio Division of Liquor Control regarding annual liquor permit renewals.
Mrs. Meany.
Since there were no objections from any of the department heads, I move not to require a hearing.
Is there a second? Which one of you guys wanted to do that?
We'll let Mr. Couture. I'll second that.
Mark will be the second. Okay.
Okay.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Katora?
Yes.
Mr. Kraus?
Yes.
Mr. McGill?
Yes.
Mrs. Meany?
Yes.
Mr. Palunas?
Yes.
Mr. Russo?
Yes. Okay, brings us to the consent portion of our agenda.
Skip number 11.
Pardon? 11? Oh, did I?
Yep.
Oh, shoot, I'm sorry.
That's
I
okay.
crossed that out already. Okay, item number 11.
Correspondence was received from the Economic Development Manager regarding Community Reinvestment Area and Enterprise Zone Tax Abatement Agreements.
Mr. Katora.
As required by state law, the Tax Incentive Review Council met in August to review the annual enterprise zone and community reinvestment area reports for current agreements for the year ending December 31st, 2016. The Tax Incentive Review Council's findings and recommendations were that the Swagelok Company is in compliance with its CRA agreement, including non-discriminatory hiring practices, and that the agreement should be continued. Nestle R&D Center is in compliance with its enterprise zone agreement, including non-discriminatory hiring practices, and the agreement should be continued. So I would like to make a motion to accept the Tax Incentive Review Council's findings and recommendations.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, Mr. McGill, any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Katora?
Yes.
Mr. Kraus?
Yes.
Mr. McGill?
Yes.
Mrs. Meany?
Yes.
Mr. Palunas?
Yes.
Mr. Russo?
Yes. Now we'll go to the consent
Okay.
portion of the agenda. Item number 13.
Ordinance number 2017-139 and ordinance amending ordinance number 2017-37 to modify the proposal of Burgess and Nyepel to include preparation of design specifications for the installation of a UV water filtration system and a new boiler for the outdoor pool as part of the community center indoor pool HVAC replacement.
Mrs. Meany.
Yes, the original contract with Burgess and Nyepel for the pool pack did not include the UV system for the indoor pool and the replacement of the boiler for the exterior pool, so that these designs needed to be paid for, and this will be an additional amount of $11,700.
Thank you. Item number 14.
Ordinance number 2017-140, and ordinance authorizing the Director of Finance to sell obsolete equipment of no further use to the fire department and having no further municipal purpose by internet auction with GovDeals.
Mrs. Meany.
Yes, the fire department requested 2 items to be placed on GovDeals, a Nordic Track treadmill and an elliptical machine, both of which the repairs will cost more than it would be worth. And then if these items are not sold through GovDeals, that they would be allowed to be disposed of.
Thank you. Item number 15.
Ordinance number 2017-141, and ordinance accepting the final contract adjustment with MA Building and Maintenance Company for the Police Department roof and exterior renovation project.
Mrs. Meany.
Yes, this is the final change order for the police department roof in the amount of $673,746, and to extend the contract for 1 day. And the original contract was actually for $739,895, so this is less $66,148.75.
Thank you. Item number 16.
Ordinance number 2017-142, and ordinance authorizing the mayor or her designee to enter into an agreement with the Ohio Arts Council to accept a grant to provide programming to allow the Solon Senior Center to participate in the Creative Aging Ohio Initiative and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Kraus.
Yeah, this has been awarded a grant from the Ohio Arts Council, and it's a service to allow individuals and groups to store video experiences and provide storytelling programs and reminiscent instruction. It's in the amount of $6,536.
Thank you. Item number 17.
Ordinance number 2017-143, and ordinance authorizing the mayor or her designee to enter into an agreement with Iron Planet Incorporated, doing business as GovPlanet, for administration of an internet auction program for the sale of surplus vehicles, equipment, and supplies, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Kraus.
Yeah, GovPlanet is a governmental specific online auction platform operated by Iron Planet. It enables the listing of surplus vehicles, equipment, supplies for auction or to utilize an evaluation insurance option. Iron Planet and GovPlanet are currently under the cooperative purchasing agreement with the National Joint Purchasing Alliance, of which we are a participant.
Thank you. Item number 18.
Ordinance number 2017-144, and ordinance authorizing the finance director to sell obsolete printing supplies of no further municipal purpose by internet auction with GovPlanet and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Kraus.
Yeah, the Finance Department identified numerous printing toner supplies no longer used for the city. The items were originally purchased and held in stock at City Hall for use in desktop and office printers.
Thank you. Item number 19.
Ordinance number 2017-145, and ordinance authorizing the Director of Finance to sell vehicles of no further use to the Service Department or of any further municipal purpose via internet auction with GovPlanet and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Kraus.
Yeah, the Direct Service Department gave us a list of 7 vehicles listed on Exhibit A from Mr. Rubino's memo. They're no longer of municipal use and were replaced with new vehicle acquisitions in 2017.
Thank you. Item number 20.
Resolution number 2017-146, accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county fiscal officer.
Thank you. Mrs. Meany.
Yes, this is something we do annually. State law requires the city adopt property tax rates determined by the Budget Commission, and the Commission has set the city's property tax rate to be collected in 2018 at 3.8 mils.
Thank you. Item number 21.
Ordinance number 2017-147, and ordinance authorizing the execution of then and now certificates by the Director of Finance and the payment of amounts due for various purchase orders and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Mr. Kraus.
This is the requirement every month. The Ohio Revised Code 570541D1 further provides that in such circumstances when no certificate is furnished as required and the expenditure is $3,000 or more, the City Council, as the taxing authority, will then do the then and now certificates under the direction of the Finance Department.
Thank you. Item number 22.
Ordinance number 2017-148, and ordinance authorizing the mayor or director of finance to request advance payments from the Cuyahoga County Office of the Fiscal Officer when necessary during the calendar year 2018 and declaring an emergency.
Mrs. Meany.
Yes, this is another one of those annual things that we do that we have to formally request to the county fiscal officer so that we can get periodic advances to the city for the property tax receipts that have been collected.
Thank you. Item number 23.
Ordinance number 2017-149, and ordinance adopting the annual appropriations for personal services and other expenditures of the City of Solon for the period January 1st, 2017 to December 31st, 2017, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Kraus.
As per one of the previous items on the consent agenda, personal services of the Police Department and Corrections had to be adjusted slightly downward, and thus the general fund total had to be adjusted accordingly.
Thank you. Item number 24.
Ordinance number 2017-150, and ordinance authorizing the settlement of a pending appropriation action to acquire various interests in real property located at 6353 and 6375 Som Center Road and 34165 Aurora Road for the Som Center Road and Aurora Road intersection improvements project and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Kraus.
Yeah, this was two cases that arose out of the real property at 6353 and 6375 Som Center Road, 34165 Aurora Road for the Som Center Road and Aurora Road intersection improvement projects. And per our ordinance, we have to authorize the settlement on these cases. John, I don't know if you want to say anything further on it.
No, I think you've covered it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. This brings us to the end of our consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Under suspension?
Under suspension, thank you.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Katora? Roll call under suspension?
Mr. Katora?
Yes.
Mr. Kraus?
Yes.
Excuse me, Mr. McGill?
Yes.
Mrs. Meany?
Yes.
Mr. Palunas?
Yes.
Mr. Russo?
Yes. Final passage?
Mr. Katora?
Yes.
Mr. Kraus?
Yes.
Mr. McGill?
Yes.
Mrs. Meany?
Yes.
Mr. Palunas?
Yes.
Mr. Russo?
Yes. Okay, brings us to comments from the audience. Any comments from the audience? Any comments from the audience? Any comments from the audience? Seeing there are none, we'll bring it back to the dais for comments from council, starting with Mr. Palunas.
I'm tired. It's 7:46. We've been here for 16 minutes. The last meeting, we talked about Jeff Pedicino, no longer with us. Still in the city, but just no longer here. And he resigned July 18th. Appointment process gives us 45 days to appoint, and we have a letter on August 9th sent to all the applicants for August 28th for interviews. 3 days after that, the mayor appoints. We have never historically waited this long. Actually has an opportunity to speak to a Solon councilman who was here from 81 till 90, I believe, and spoke to him at a seminar I was at on Friday, and asked him his opinion. He said when he was here, he was vice mayor at that point, and he said they waited 3 days, 5 days, always did that. We always waited 3 days or 5 days to do it. We've never decided on the day of the appointment, really. So we have 3 applicants here. The ward's been unrepresented for all this time. And reason I went through the minutes was on August 4th, Mr. Russo had an email that's sent to all of council. If it's a light agenda, we could have the interviews tonight. I don't know how much lighter we can get than this for an agenda to have the interviews tonight. We had a special meeting last week. Mr. Kraus couldn't be here, but we had a special meeting then. We could have asked, had Mr. Kraus put the questions in writing. We could have videoed the meeting. It's just not fair to the residents of Ward 3 and to the city as a whole to leave a spot unrepresented and leave it to the third to last day. So we're going to meet on the 28th at 6 p.m., which is a Monday. We have to make the decision within 3 days. So everyone's been so incredibly busy that we didn't have 45 minutes, 15 minutes per applicant to meet. Tonight, I'm going to speak for a little while because we have this time. So I'm not going to go for 45 minutes. But so we had the 3 applicants, and they're not going to get an interview until the 28th. The ward is the people that are really being punished because they don't have a council person. They have no one to call if there's an issue. They're unrepresented. So I just think that we really did a disservice to the city by sending this letter on August 9th for the 28th. The vice mayor stated that we couldn't do it tonight because only if there was a light agenda, but I guess this is a pretty heavy agenda, and I don't see any executive session items that are going to keep us here to 11 or 12 or anything else. And I remember one of the first meetings I ever had on city council, we were here till 1 o'clock in the morning. Next meeting we were here till 1:30 in the morning. A couple other meetings we had, we actually interviewed. Mr. Kraus might remember this. Mr. Kraus might remember this. We actually interviewed some applicants around 11:45 at night. Do you remember that for one of the seats?
Try not to.
Yeah. But so I just think it's a disservice to the ward. Also, have another question for anyone who wants to answer it. Mayor has not been at a council meeting in over a month now, so just wondering if there's something wrong or something that reason why she has not been here. And I think those are my comments.
Okay. Mrs. Meany.
Okay, I do want to, item 16 that was brought before us tonight is in regards to a grant for the Solon Senior Center. So I just really wanted, I do kind of volunteer a lot up there. I think it's like one of the best departments in the city. So I just really want to give kudos to Jill Frankel, Adeline, Sally, all those great people at the Senior Center, especially Jill for getting these grants, which I think have been just so great for the seniors. And I know that, they enjoy, this program that we're getting the grant for. Also, I just want to remind people, as hard as it is to believe, that school's back in session, so please be a little extra careful. Watch for the buses, watch for the kids. And then just happy Labor Day. And I guess, just my comment to Councilman Palunas, I was appointed, and I believe when I did my interview, I think I got a call that night. I understand, and I agree, it has been a long time. I know that I think we all gave our dates of when we were available. And I guess it unfortunately was just, I would like to have had this done and taken care of, and that Jeff be replaced. I'm not, denying that fact, how that could have been, like I say, when we all gave our dates, how we could have, unless we said to somebody, well, then you can't do X on that date. I like I say, I don't, and I appreciate what you're saying, and I guess what I would say to the residents of Jeff's ward is, to call the mayor. If you have a question, or call one of us, we'd be happy to try to help you as much as we could. Call the department heads. We have great departments. If you have issues, call engineering, call service. These are great people over here, and I know would be happy to help you. Like I say, I agree with Bob that this has probably been a tad too long to leave an area unrepresented, but I guess maybe it should have been said way in the beginning, because of whatever our crazy schedule. Summers are a little crazier than maybe other times of the year, that we should have offered to the residents that you can certainly always call, anybody in the city, and they will certainly try to help you the best that they can. And those are my comments.
Thank you. Mr. McGill.
First, I want to congratulate Jill and her team relative to the grant for the Senior Center. They do great work over there, and I've talked to a lot of people that go to the Senior Center. It's really one of the things that attract people to the city. We get a lot of people from other communities coming here, which is really a wonderful thing. So congratulations to Jill. I would like to take a moment to echo Mr. Palunas' comments. I have spoken to a lot of people in Ward 3 over the past few weeks, and a lot of them have asked questions, why is it taking City Council so long to replace our councilman? Their belief and their memory is that it only takes a week or two to go through this process. I understand that sometimes it's difficult to schedule things, but regardless, we all took this job with the understanding that it takes extra effort and extra time. It's an embarrassment that we have waited this long to replace Councilman Pedicino. We can do better, and we should have done better. Lastly, I'd like to recommend everybody have a safe Labor Day, and do remember and pray for those who labored hard to build this city as well as this country. And final comment is, go Browns tonight.
Mr. Couture.
Okay, I have several things. One, I would like to echo some of the comments this evening and thank Councilman Palunas. It's for his perspective. He's the true elder statesman, and I agree that tonight probably would have been a good evening to go ahead and hold council interviews. I'd like to welcome the Solon Comets back to school. I get sad every time. I think maybe a part of me still. I think back. It was my childhood growing up in Solon was just. It was just such a wonderful time for me. So I think a part of me is still there, and I still get a little bit of sadness when the summer ends and knowing that they're going back to school. But I wish them a healthy and productive school year. Third item I'd like to bring up is I have been receiving, it seems like, multiple phone calls a week from what is a scam, and they claim to be the Internal Revenue Service. And my mother has also received a call last week, and I think I received maybe possibly as many as 6 at my phone number. I would like to let the residents know that the Internal Revenue Service will not contact you via the phone. They will only contact you in writing through the United States Post Office. They don't contact you via email. In this case, my contact, that was the phone calls that were coming to me, they were not emails, they were phone calls. But in the event that people are getting emails as well, those are scams as well. So try not to fall for those. Just wanted to put that warning out there. And I think the last thing this evening was at the last council meeting, I had made a motion to videotape and televise and air multiple times prior to the primary the event that is being hosted by the Solon Chamber of Commerce. It is a mayoral candidate event, and it's being held early in the morning, I believe on the 24th of August, correct?
Thursday, yes.
This Thursday. At the time when I had the discussion at Roundtable, I did indicate that cable franchise fees go to purposes of things for a public purpose, and the public purpose being, the municipal television channels and such like that, government TV. The legal department has asked me to tighten up my motion a little bit and make it clear that the mayoral candidate event and the videotaping of that serves a true public purpose. So I'd like to remake my motion from the last meeting due to the fact that serving the public purpose of giving the residents an opportunity to hear and see from the candidates at the Solon Chamber candidate event for mayor. I'd like to make that motion to videotape it and air it.
I'll second if you change it to declaring a public purpose, if you're okay with that.
I declare that it is a public purpose.
Thank you.
Okay, we have
Mr. Lobe would appreciate that.
Yeah.
okay. We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Katora?
Yes.
Mr. Kraus?
Abstain.
Mr. Meany? Mrs.
Wow.
Mr. McGill? I'm
got your
thinking
name
too
changed.
far
I
ahead.
need to think whether I should be hurt by that or not. But
Mr. McGill?
I need to abstain from that as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mrs. Meany?
Yes.
Mr. Palunas? Mr. Russo?
Yes.
Mr. Russo, just for the record, I advised Mr. McGill and Mr. Kraus to abstain just in an overabundance of caution. That's all. So it's on my recommendation that they did so, and I thank them.
I knew you didn't want to do it.
I appreciate that. We will talk later.
And since Mr. McGill said go Browns, I'll say go Tribe.
Mr. Kraus.
Go Tribe and Browns. But, no, I would. Mark's comments are very poignant. I hear a lot about different scams that go on, so, particularly senior scams. So the one thing, in addition to what Mark's comments is, the Attorney General's office has a consumer protection section. What they do is they gather all the information and then they make recommendations and referral. They do enforcement actions. They're the best organization as far as accumulating all the different scams and various things, just because they have the enforcement powers and the regulatory powers throughout the state of Ohio. There's actually a Cleveland office that handles consumer protection as well. So it's one thing that people should keep in mind when they do get scams. The Attorney General's office is probably the best organization to handle those. Rob, I've noticed some construction going on, so it's nice to see that corner finally sprouting to life with the bank there, and I know we're going to have something with the gas station as well. So I appreciate I think it gives residents a little bit of optimism when you see the cranes going up, when you see the construction going up. It also feeds off of businesses as well. When businesses see construction, it has a kind going around town, and when people see construction, it just gives people a lot more optimism, encouragement throughout the economy as well. So, thank you. And just lastly, happy Labor Day to everybody. I know Doug's comments about the labor force are very well taken, and there's a lot of people, both in Solon and throughout the community, you know, that work hard every day, and it's nice to recognize those folks that really put in the blood and the sweat, and with all the construction jobs and the various things that people do and all the different jobs. It's a nice opportunity to recognize people that for all their hard work and for everything they do. So that's my comments.
Okay, thank you. Yes, the mayor could not be here this evening because she is in Chicago. Her daughter suffered an injury, so she's tending to her this week. In her absence, she asked me to request a motion to approve a resolution of support by the City of Solon for the renewal of the Cleveland-Cuyahoga County Port Authority operating levy. The port annually handles 13.3 million tons of cargo through 850 vessel and barge calls, and in the last decade, cargo activity has increased more than 4 million tons. Also, this is a renewal. It's not a new levy as well, so I would ask for a motion for a resolution of support.
Sure, I'll make a motion.
A second.
Second motion and a second by Mr. Kraus. Roll call, please.
Mr. Katora?
Yes.
Mr. Kraus?
Yes.
Mr. McGill?
Yes.
Mrs. Meany?
Yes.
Mr. Palunas?
Yes.
Mr. Russo?
Yes. Absolutely. So, also, before the next council meeting, there will be a primary vote for 3 candidates running for mayor, so just ask the residents to take that seriously and get out and vote. And also, you know, the question is that it's been a long time. This is not without precedence. Ward 7 was up unrepresented for a longer period of time, and somebody was appointed to that seat. Okay, so that has happened before. It's not like this is the first time. So those are my comments. We'll go to comments from the administration, starting with Mr. Loby.
No comments tonight to open to
Mrs.
any
McConaughey?
questions.
No comments.
Chief Island.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Chief Shaw.
No comments, thank you.
Mr. Rubino.
No comments tonight, thank you.
Mr. Franklin.
Nothing tonight.
Mr. Dursick.
No comments this evening.
Mr. Bush.
Excuse me, just one quick announcement that starting a week from today, our concrete repair contractor will be making some repairs to the City Hall entrance nearest the Art Center to widen the entrance and to make some walkway repairs. The work is anticipated to take about a week or two to perform, and the entrance may be closed from time to time during the work. All of the other City Hall entrances will be opened, and the Art Center has been notified. Thank you.
Thank
no
you.
other comments.
Thank you. Ms. Wildorfman? Okay, that brings us to the end of our agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? Mr. McGill, roll call, please.
Mr. Katora?
Yes.
Mr. Kraus?
Yes.
Mr. McGill?
Yes.
Mrs. Meany?
Yes.
Mr. Palunas?
Yes.
Mr. Russo?
Yes. Meeting adjourned.